Hello and good evening. Thanks for your company. I'm Brenda Paul and you're watching News at 10. Our headlines tonight. Malaysia and Japan should venture into new areas of cooperation. And 10 to 20% rent fee reduction for government premises. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob wants new areas of cooperation related to environmental, social and governance (ESG) initiatives to be explored by Malaysia and Japan through projects and programs implemented under the Look East policy. In his speech at the opening of the business seminar to commemorate the 40th anniversary of the Look East policy, read by Senior International Trade and Industry Minister Datuk Seri Muhammad Azmin Ali, the Premier said this included diversifying cooperation in the field of disaster crisis, aging society, digital economy, science and technology and innovation, as well as green growth.
Menurut laporan risiko Global Forum Ekonomi Dunia WEF 2022, isu-isu seperti perubahan iklim, kesan sosial populasi yang semakin menua dan polarisasi sosial selepas pandemik COVID-19 dijangka memberi kesan serius terhadap ekonomi dan mata pencarian kebanyakan negara dunia dalam tempoh 10 tahun akan datang.
As such, the Prime Minister said both countries should explore the new areas of cooperation to address the issues. According to him, the success of the cooperation between Malaysia and Japan, which had spanned more than 4 decades, was now more focused on new fields in line with the technological revolution. He hoped the Japanese government would also provide continuous support to encourage more cooperation in the field concerned through the implementation of joint venture projects under the Look East policy. Meanwhile, Datuk Seri Muhammad Azmin said the Look East policy, which has existed for 40 years since 1982, has helped Malaysia to transform from an agricultural country into an industrialized nation. He said the policy, which has continued as Look East Policy 2.0 since 2013, will drive Malaysia's development to a higher level on the application of new technology, such as digitalization, robotics and artificial intelligence.
Dan Malaysia hari ini pun telah menggubal dan melaksanakan dasar pelaburan baru yang berteraskan kerangka ESG, Environmental, Social and Governance, untuk memastikan pembangunan ekonomi di Malaysia ini lestari, mampan dan dapat menjamin supply chain resiliency.
Speaking after delivering his remarks at the business seminar in commemoration of the 40th anniversary of the Look East policy, he said Malaysia and Japan will focus on deepening their economic integration. This is important for Malaysia, which is a trading nation that needs to trade with every part of the world. He said this was also one of the reasons Malaysia expedited the ratification of the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership early this year. This would enable the small and medium enterprises to have bigger access and have the capacity and capability to compete on the global stage. Ministries and government agencies which are renting out their premises to hawkers and petty traders have been instructed to reduce the rents by 10 to 20% starting next month. Chairman of the Special Task Force on Jihad Against Inflation, Tan Sri Anwar Musa, said the matter was proposed in the task force's last meeting and was agreed upon by the Cabinet in its meeting yesterday.
Kita ingin melanjutkan, memperluaskan dasar kecaknaan kepada rakyat dan peniaga kecil, di mana premis termasuk di bawah bandaraya, di bawah MARA dan agensi-agensi kerajaan, di bawah kementerian-kementerian hendaklah menurunkan sewa. pada kadar minima 10 ke 20%. Bagi yang turun lebih pada itu adalah digalakkan. Sebagai contoh, Kementerian Wilayah Persekutuan telah memaklumkan kepada kita di mana Kementerian Wilayah Persekutuan menawarkan 50% kadar sewaan.
He said this in a media conference in Serdang today after chairing the 10th series of the Special Task Force on Jihad Against Inflation meeting. Tan Sri Anwar, who is also Minister of Communications and Multimedia, said it also followed the Higher Education Ministry's initiative in giving a 6-month rent exemption to food stall operators and service providers on all public university campuses, which enable them to offer meals for as low as 3 ringgit and 50 cents. Meanwhile, Tan Sri Anwar said the Veterinary Services Department and Department of Statistics Malaysia, DOSM, have been tasked with collecting data related to chicken supply. He said this is to ensure food safety control is managed in an orderly manner. The committee chairman said the JPV was given a week to propose a pattern of data management on chicken production and chicken import, besides having the latest data on import permits records to track the total amount of chicken imports.
Jabatan Veterinary dikehendaki mempunyai satu dasar jumlah ayam bekalan yang up to date. Bukan saja menentukan jumlah berdasar kepada data yang dikutip, tetapi membuat dasar berapa banyak ayam bekalan yang harus ada pada sesuatu masa.
The DOSM, meanwhile, would need to prepare a monthly chicken production cost index where the figure will be used as a benchmark to determine fair pricing at the retail and sales levels. Tan Sri Anwar said the policy on the import and export of whole chickens, including the price of cooking oil set for now, would be maintained and not changed until the JPV and DOSM master data management in a more organised manner. And in other news, the prosecution in the corruption trial of former Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Dr. Ahmad Zahid Hamidi, who is facing 40 charges in connection with the foreign visa system (VLN), today closed its case after calling 18 witnesses. Deputy Public Prosecutor Datuk Raja Rosella Rajatoran, who led the prosecution team, told High Court Judge Datuk Muhammad Yazid Mustafa that the prosecution closed its case after the 18 witness Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission (MACC) investigating officer V. Mahindran, 38, finished testifying. Datuk Muhammad Yazid then ordered the defence to file its written submissions on 29 August and the prosecution on 5th September. The judge also set the 1st, 2nd, 5th to 8th September to hear their oral submissions before deciding whether to acquit or order Datuk Sri Ahmad Zahid to enter his defence on the 40 charges. Datuk Raja Rosella informed the court that the prosecution had offered 27 witnesses to the defence. Datuk Sri Ahmad Zahid, 69, is facing 33 charges of receiving bribes amounting to 13.56 million Singapore dollars from Ultra Kirana Sendirian Berhad UKSB for himself as Home Minister. For another 7 counts, he was charged with obtaining for himself 1,150,000 Singapore dollars, 3 million ringgit, 15,000 euros and 15,000 US dollars from the same company which has official links with its official duty. The Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission (MACC) today declared that the investigation on the littoral combat ship issue is now completed. In a statement today, MACC said the investigation paper has been forwarded to the Attorney General's chambers for further action. The statement read that MACC made recommendation to consider charges against several individuals. It added that the MACC will receive further instructions after the Attorney General's chambers have scrutinized the investigation papers. Yesterday, the Cabinet urged MACC to expedite the investigation on the LCS issue. Prime Minister Dr. Sri Semasa Yaakob said the matter was discussed in depth during the cabinet meeting and has asked the Attorney General to prosecute individuals responsible if there is any hard proof. In an effort to empower the use of the Malay language in public service, heads of departments must ensure that every official function organized by their respective department be conducted entirely in Malay. The matter is stated in the Human Resources Service Circular, which is included with a circular dated 9th August, signed by Director General of Public Service, KPPA, Datuk Seri Muhammad Shafiq Abdullah. The circular states that preparations and proactive actions such as providing facilities, translation services and financial allocation should be taken accordingly to ensure that instructions on the use of the Malay language can be fully implemented. It said department heads also need to ensure that all their staff members have a good command of both spoken and written Malay. According to the circular, heads of department must ensure the proper use of Malay in official affairs, official letters, and agreement documents in domestic and foreign affairs. Among the guidelines for the use of the Malay language stated is official letters, including for foreign affairs, must be sent or replied using the Malay language. English translation is then attached to the official letters if the foreign countries do not have Malay language experts. Next, no need to peg ringgit to US dollar. Stay with us. The government has no plans to peg the ringgit to the US dollar, as such a move is fraught with high risks and a large trade-off. Finance Minister Tengku Datuk Seri Zafrul Tengku Abdul Aziz said a peg would not be the best move for the economy, as it would require Malaysia to follow the monetary policy of the country, to which the ringgit is pegged to.
Contohnya, jika ringgit ditambat kepada dolar Amerika Syarikat dan seandainya keadaan faedah result persekutuan meningkat sebanyak 325 mata asas ini atau 3.25% secara keseluruhan pada 2022, maka kadar dasar semalaman atau OPR perlu dinaikkan pada kadar yang sama meskipun Malaysia berada pada tahap pemulihan ekonomi dan tekanan inflasi yang berbeza daripada Amerika Syarikat.
Tengku Datuk Seri Zafrul explained that the country would face constraints in setting the monetary policy and Malaysians would have to bear the high financing costs, although the economic situation in Malaysia is different from that of the United States. He said a flexible ringgit exchange rate is important to balance the need to absorb external shocks and support the Malaysian economy amid global uncertainty. Kuala Lumpur City Hall DBKL plans to close Jalan Tuanku Abdul Rahman, which is better known as Jalan Tar, to traffic every Sunday from 28 September. Deputy Federal Territories Minister Datuk Seri Jalaluddin Alia said this was to encourage the culture of walking among city folk, and that DBKL was conducting engagement sessions with the parties in the affected areas to enable the road closure to be realised. Explaining further, he said the closure of Jalan Tar will be made from the junction of Jalan Isfahan until Jalan Tun Perak from 6 a.m. to midnight. He said this in response to a question by Senator Dato Dr. Dominic Lau Ho Chai regarding efforts to upgrade the pedestrian infrastructure in Kuala Lumpur and the culture of, quote, willingness to walk among city folk. He said DBKL was also studying plans to do the same from the junction of Jalan Pudu until the Jalan Bukit Bintang intersection. On the pedestrian infrastructure upgrading project, Datuk Seri Jalaluddin said a total of 23 areas had been identified.
Untuk makluman, projek-projek ini dirancang supaya ianya mempunyai satu jaringan yang lengkap dan apabila siap kelak, ia dapat memberi imej baru atau penjenamaan semula kepada kawasan yang terlibat dan secara tidak langsung dapat menjadi salah satu produk pelancongan bagi Kota Kuala Lumpur.
The government is considering the proposal for the construction of another University Kuala Lumpur UniKL campus in the federal capital to support the university's internationalisation mission. Rural Development Minister Datuk Seri Mahathir Khalid said the proposed construction of the new campus would boost UniKL's role as an instrument of national economic growth. Datuk Seri Mahathir said the initiative would also be able to attract more international students to Malaysia.
Pihak kerajaan akan terus membantu perkembangan TVET yang diperjuangkan oleh UniKL, termasuk membuka kampus baru di Pahang, Perlis dalam bidang logistik lestari. Kejuruteraan air, teknologi pertanian dan teknologi bangunan, manakala sebuah kampus satelit di Kota Kinabalu, Sabah.
He said this at UniKL's 17th and 18th convocation, which was opened by Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah, who is also the UniKL Chancellor. On UniKL's achievements, the minister said the university, which celebrates its 20th anniversary this year, is among the 15 Malaysian universities featured in the Times Higher Education and QS University ranking. Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah has called on graduates to always remember and appreciate the country's independence history. His Majesty said it was important for graduates to value the country's history because it could help instill love for the nation and appreciate the prosperity enjoyed by the country today.
Generasi pewaris negara harus sentiasa menghayati dan mengambil iktibar daripada sejarah. Ini kerana manusia yang tidak belajar dari sejarah akan mengulangi kesilapan yang sama berulang kali. Kerana itu, para cendekiawan dunia menyatakan bahawa identiti nasional sesuatu bangsa dan negara adalah ditentukan oleh batasan waktu yang berkait rapat dengan sejarah.
Speaking in his royal address at the University Kuala Lumpur UniKL 17th and 18th convocation ceremony, Al-Sultan Abdullah said, Bangsa Malaysia can be established through the understanding and appreciation of the country's history. The King also praised UniKL for being the pioneer in various new technologies such as sustainable energy, electric vehicles, big data, Internet of Things, and aerospace. SME Bank's Access 2022 program is expected to provide local, small and medium enterprises, SMEs, the opportunity to penetrate international markets. Its Group Chief Corporate Strategy Officer, Datuk Muhammad Hardi Ibrahim said SME Bank's plans to look into countries such as South Africa and Russia to explore new opportunities for local SMEs. The networking program will also see the participation of fellow entrepreneurs from overseas, including those from Thailand and Japan, through its cross-border partnership component.
This year we expanded into the cross-border. Cross-border here, we managed to get Thailand, the collaboration between SME Bank Malaysia and SME Bank Thailand. The second, Japan. This is another big market for us.
He said this at the opening ceremony of the SME Bank Access 2022 and the reception of SME Bank Umbrella Program participants in the nation's capital today. Meanwhile, SME Bank has approved 24 business financings worth 11.6 million ringgit through its umbrella program, which was introduced in 2019. The program is a form of collaboration between SME Bank and anchor companies to enable entrepreneurs to participate in business models that are already firmly established in the market, thus reducing the risk of business failure. And in sports, KL City create history by advancing to ASEAN Zone Final. Stay with us. Kuala Lumpur, KL City FC made their own history by advancing to the final of the ASEAN zone of the Asian Football Confederation Cup AFC after overcoming Vietnam's Viettel FC 6-5 in a penalty shootout in Ho Chi Minh City on Wednesday night. In the semi-final clash at the Thong Nhat Stadium, the two teams were tied without a goal after extra time, and the winner had to be decided through a penalty shootout, which saw KL City FC goalkeeper Muhammad Azri Abdul Ghani emerge as the team's hero. Muhammad Azri guessed correctly when he threw his body towards the left of the goalpost to save the home team's 7th penalty kick, taken by Bui Dui Tong, thus helping the team book a meeting against Indonesian club PSM Makassar in the final. Earlier, Muhammad Irfan Zakaria's penalty missed, while Chan Dan Cheong shot hit the crossbar in the first 5 kicks by both teams. KL City's winning penalty kick was courtesy of Muhammad Akram Mahinan before Muhammad Azri brilliantly saved Dui Tong's attempt. The final match of the ASEAN zone is scheduled to take place on 24th August, where the champions will then continue the challenge in the inter-zone semi-finals to continue the hunt for the AFC Cup Championship. Johor Darul Ta'zim JDT achieved their 5th consecutive victory to continue leading in the league title chase after beating Terengganu FC TFC 2-1 in a closely fought Super League match on Wednesday evening. In the action at Sultan Mizan Zainal Abidin Stadium in Kuala Nerus, both teams delivered a breathtaking performance, putting spectators at the edge of their seats. JDT striker Bergson Da Silva broke the deadlock with a goal in the 31st minute after he made a quick run to control a long pass well before unleashing a powerful shot in the penalty area, which beat goalie Muhammad Rahadiazli Rahalim. JDT then took a comfortable 2-0 lead as a result of Fernando Forestieri's finish that failed to be saved by Muhammad Rahadiazli in the 47th minute. The match became more lively when TFC closed the gap 4 minutes later through a beautiful Muhammad Hakimi Abdullah's free kick. However, the 2-1 position remained in favour of the Southern Tigers until the final whistle, thus enabling them to collect 3 valuable points to comfortably top the league with 38 points after playing 14 games, leaving Sabah FC in 2nd place with 34 points and Negeri Sembilan 3rd with 29 points. And that's it from us this evening. In our top story, Malaysia-Japan should venture into new areas of cooperation. Join us for updates at noon at 12:30 tomorrow. Till then, it's lights out. I'm Brenda Paul. Thanks for watching. Take care.